Good morning. Happy Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy celebrations for today. Happy peace and quiet for those of you who are just hanging out by yourself. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist, welcoming you to the early morning intuitive guidance. And we have an interesting thing happen today, and we'll see what you all think. But it is from the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Creative Living Beyond Fear. Good morning, Joe. Welcome, welcome. And good morning to whomever else has popped on. So we have Elizabeth Gilbert, Creative Living. Cindy, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And I wasn't quite sure how this reading fit in with the day and what we've been addressing, but I think it really does. I had to think a little bit about how I thought it fit in. But so I'm going to read this little part, which is 2.5 pages. Good morning, Carolyn. Welcome, welcome. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And we'll see how you think it resonates. You will see what you glean from this that's relevant for you. It's called An Idea Goes Away. And we've read the next part of this recently, within the last couple of months. But now we're getting the preamble. An idea goes away. Allow me to explain. I do not mean to say that someone had stolen my notes or that a crucial computer file had gone missing. What I mean is that the living heart of my novel was gone. The sentient force that inhabits all vibrant creative endeavors had vanished. Now I want you to think about that. The sentient force that inhabits all creative endeavors. In other words, everything that we do creatively has a life of its own. Think about that. And think about the sacred contract we make with that, whether it's singing or writing or doing a play or whatever creative endeavor it is, scrapbooking, whatever you love to do that's creative, yard art. I'm thinking of all the ones I like to do. It's a contract, a sacred contract that we make with that form to bring it into being, right? So let's see what happened here. The sentient force that inhabits all vibrant creative endeavors had vanished, swallowed like bulldozers in the jungle, you could say. Sure, all the research and writing I'd completed 2 years earlier was still there, but I knew at once that what I was looking at was nothing but the empty husk of what had once been a warm and pulsating entity. Have you ever had that happen where you start working on something? Let's say you're a painter and you start painting and it's really good and it's going along and all of a sudden, there's just nothing there. That's the same thing. I'm pretty stubborn about sticking with projects, so I prodded at the thing for several months, trying to make it work again, hoping to bring it back to life. But it was useless. Nothing was there. It was like poking a stick at a cast-off snakeskin. The more I messed with it, the faster it fell apart and turned to dust. I believe I knew what had happened because I'd seen this sort of thing before. Good morning, Cheryl. Welcome. The idea had grown tired of waiting, and it had left me. I could scarcely blame it. I had, after all, broken our contract. I'd promised to dedicate myself completely on, and then I'd reneged on this. I hadn't given the book a moment's attention for more than 2 years. What was the idea supposed to do? Sit around indefinitely while I ignored it? Maybe. Sometimes they do wait. Some exceedingly patient ideas might wait years or even decades for your attention, but others won't. I think that is a very interesting point for the video to have lapsed. So think about that. When we don't give attention to what is calling for our attention, interesting. It'll leave us. It can leave us. So I'm paying attention. I notice that there's 2 lapses right there. So I need to, in my journaling today, I'm going to look at what am I not giving the attention that is meant to have it right now. Good morning, Beth. Welcome, welcome. Would you sit around in a box for 2 years while your collaborator blew you off? Probably not. Thus, the neglected idea did what many self-respecting living entities would do in the same circumstance. It hit the road. Fair enough, right? Because this is the other side of the contract with creativity. If inspiration is allowed to unexpectedly enter you, it is also allowed to unexpectedly exit you. If I'd been younger, the loss of Evelyn of the Amazon might have knocked me off my feet. But by this point in my life, I'd been in the game of imagination long enough to let it go without excessive struggle. Good morning, Judy. Welcome, welcome. I could have wept over the loss, but I didn't, because I understood the terms of the deal and I accepted those terms. Good morning, Diane. Welcome, welcome. I understood that the best you can hope for in such a situation is to let your old idea go and catch the next idea that comes around. And there's where I went, aha. Because again, for those of you who are just joining, I was wondering about this reading. Why this page today? This is weird. Given the things we've been talking about, given that it's Thanksgiving Day, why this chapter? This is weird. That made it make sense to me. We've been talking about releasing what no longer serves us and opening ourselves to the new, right? So doesn't it make sense that this reading is about, it was a good idea at the time, it was an idea that had verve and energy and life, right? And then it didn't. And when it doesn't, again, we can continue to poke and prod at it and try to bring it back to life, to resuscitate it, or we can let it be, let it have moved on. Let it have moved on to whomever is going to bring that idea to fruition. And it may be a healthy idea for a different person at a different place in their life. For instance, being a woman of a certain age, some of the things that I've released may have landed with younger women. That may have been a good place for them to go. It would serve them at this point. May not serve me anymore at this point. And the best way for that to happen is to move on swiftly, with humility and grace. Don't fall into a funk about the one that got away. Don't beat yourself up. Don't rage at the gods above. All that is nothing but distraction. And the last thing you need is further distraction. Because oftentimes, again, these ideas leave because we're not attending to them. We're not giving them the energy they need and deserve. Grieve if you must, but grieve efficiently. Better to just say goodbye to the lost idea with dignity and continue onward. Find something else to work on, anything, immediately, and get at it. Keep busy. Most of all, be ready. Keep your eyes open. Good morning, Morgan. Gobble, gobble to you, too. Welcome, welcome. Hi to Zoe. Let's see. Keep your eyes open. Listen. Follow your curiosity. I love that one. So if I'm driving down the road and I go past a shop and I get this little tug like, go in there, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go in. If I'm walking down the street and something catches my attention, I'm going to stop. I'm going to observe. If I'm reading in a book and a line jumps at me, I'm going to go back and read it again. All right? Follow your curiosity. Ask questions. Sniff around. Remain open. Yesterday I was doing that, and I always have fun doing that. Jumping on Google, Googling some stuff, seeing if anything even comes up. Sometimes, most of the time, stuff does come up. Google's amazing, right? But just to see what's there about a particular topic. I was on Pinterest last night, and I Googled intentional communities because I wanted to see what popped up there, and I found some drawings, some layouts, some articles. I just wanted to see what was there. Be curious. It can be about anything. It can be about, I love the ones on repurposing stuff, repurposing old furniture, lamps, whatever, turning things into garden art. I love that. I got a great big page of that stuff. Let's see here. Remain open. Trust in the miraculous truth that new and marvelous ideas are looking for human collaborators every single day. So someone who's on this call is looking to find a way to maybe be at home instead of having to go to work outside of the home. Hear this again. Trust in the miraculous truth that new and marvelous ideas are looking for human collaborators every single day. So put it out there. Be the beacon. I'm shining my light. Where's my idea? Come to me. Ideas of every kind are constantly galloping galloping toward us, constantly passing through us, constantly trying to get our attention. So let's be attentive. Where's my next idea? And there was that little book by P.D. Eastman. I can see the cover of it. Are You My Mother? I love that book because the little bird hatches while mom's away from the nest and starts wandering around asking everything. Are you my mother? Are you my mother? Are you my mother? Waiting to imprint, right? Finds a steam shovel. Are you my mother? Nope, you are not my mother. You are a snort. I like children's books. They're good. They're good. They're good. So ideas of every kind are constantly galloping toward us, constantly passing through us, constantly trying to get our attention. Let them know you're available. And for heaven's sake, try not to miss the next one. So that's our part for today. Ideas, ideas, ideas. Creativity, creativity. The snort. Yes, absolutely the snort. So that would be a great book for Zoe. Yes. And my one from yesterday, if you can find it. If you can find it. Donna Onishuk was chased by some cows. I love that book. Absolutely love that book. Good. I'm glad it's helpful to start your day and to give you things to chew on. I mean, there's so... I had my 3-hour Zoom call yesterday for this class I'm taking. That's a 10-week class. And we were talking about that. We were talking about how heartening it is to be in a group of people who get what we're trying to do, because everyone on this call is looking to create an intentional community or further an intentional community, do some co-housing kinds of things, whatever. We're all in the same field. The location in the field is different. Some are already further along. Some have different ideas for how they're going to do it. Some are looking at making senior housing. Some are looking at making intergenerational housing, et cetera, et cetera. But everybody kind of gets it, what we're talking about, which is fun. So find your peeps. Here's a group of peeps right here. Find the people who understand what it is you're wanting to create, the ideas you're wanting to bring forth. And one of the things that I have discovered for me, and I think part of this is just my lesson because I've been so steeped in do it yourself, do it yourself, do it yourself. You're on your own, you're the Lone Ranger, blah, blah, blah. Make it happen, it's in your hands, all that stuff. That to work in community or to have, in small groups or whatever is not my typical thing. But with several projects, a piece that I needed was brought to me by someone else. So I'll give you an example. I had been going around and around and around and around on the subtitle for my book. Couldn't come up with it. And I'm thinking that maybe this is nudging me again. Okay, time to dig the book out of the mothballs and do a little more work on it and see what you can do. But where was I? I derailed myself. Oh yeah, the subtitle. Messing around with stuff, nothing was coming. It kind of like she talks about in here. You can feel the flatness of something. It doesn't hum. It doesn't sing. It isn't it, right? We know. And so then I was on a Hay House Writers workshop Zoom, and they broke us out into little breakout groups, and I think there were 4 or 5 people in the group, and we could each pose something we were struggling with, and I talked about the subtitle, just not chiming. And so I explained what the book was about, and some lady goes, oh, so you're really doing blah, 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 blah. There it was. There it was. She was the messenger. The divine had come through her, given the words. There it was. There it was. So how many of you do that same thing? I have to figure it out all myself. I have to know how to do that. No, open up. Human beings, again, are herd animals. There are others out there who are meant to be our collaborators. There may be someone out there who's meant to bring you your next idea, what it is you're going to be working on, doing, being, etc. All right? So we want to be open, and we want to, and maybe Thanksgiving weekend is a time to do this. Clear some clutter. Clear some clutter. When there was one year when my poor daughter showed up for Thanksgiving, and I gave her a whole tub of scrapbooks. They were for her and her brother. Her brother didn't want his, so she's now the keeper of the scrapbooks. One of these days we got to play around with that some more. But so maybe there's something that someone has always wanted. Maybe you gift it to them this Thanksgiving because it's time for it to move on. And you're sending the message to the universe, I'm clearing space. I'm clearing space for what's meant to come next. All right? So have an awesome turkey day. Eat until you're stuffed. Enjoy people's company. Allow yourself to be, what's the word I want? Magnanimous. Just allow things to roll off. Even when Great Aunt Minnie takes the poke at you about whatever, let it go. Let it go. In the long range scheme of things, it does not matter. Does not matter. Not a big hairy deal, right? We just let it go. You smile, you walk to the kitchen, you walk outside, you do something else, pick something pleasant. Have a good day. See you again tomorrow. You are capable of far more than you think you are, including letting go of the old ideas, opening up to the new ideas, paying attention, being curious, waiting for them to show up. All right. Bye, everybody.